I am live and ready, or not so ready, for this week's energy forecast because what a crazy week it's been since I did the last podcast. It seems that things are heightening in our collective, and that is not a shock. This is the pre-eclipse kind of shadow energy. It's also really to do with the fire horse gaining that fire. Remember, fire offers a great opportunity of destruction before it can rebuild from fertile land. So what we're looking at is really within our collective, what we're seeing in the news, what we're seeing happening all around us, is something that many of us have known about for a long time. I am feeling this really strongly in my body, all that's being lifted in the collective, and with great kind of sadness, lots of passion, because I've been trying to teach this for the last 15 years about the corruption, about the patriarchal structures that strangle us as humans, about these big enforced regimes and pandemics and wars and everything that reeks patriarchy. And if you have someone that has some knowledge about symbols or ritual, you can see what's going on out there. It's so easy to see the ritualistic behavior, the symbols that come through in the media. I mean, the celebrity and worship culture is crazy, and even that people still believe in political parties, that they are any different either side, is beyond me. All forces that we see in our collective are deep constructs of thwarted, disrupted and severely wounded patriarchy that we have created amongst ourselves. I think I really need to be open about people's, you know, understanding of patriarchy. Patriarchy isn't just about men. Let's make that clear. I like to reframe this as like logos and eros energy. Patriarchy is this place of disconnection from emotions and feelings. Now, we are all guilty of that. It's about where power comes in, where structure overrides feelings and harmony and others. So let's get what patriarchy is really truly about. And I see that there's such a kind of argument against patriarchy, and that's what we're going to see, because it's not about demonizing men, actually. It's about owning in us as individuals, whether we are male or female, patriarchy structures within ourselves, disconnection, not having empathy, being totally narcissistically focused on the self. These are kind of patriarchal things that really we need to stop in the world. I wrote a blog today. I've just published it onto my website. And if you go to templeto-the-rose.com/blog, you'll see I often write there. I send them out as a weekly email. But what the world has operated through, men and women, is domination, extraction, silencing, and corruption for far too long, for far too long. It has fragmented the female principle, the eros, and it's been dismissing this softness, this openness to give and receive, and not to just always be in this place of taking and power and ownership. There's a lot of symbols in our collective at the minute that are related to very old Moloch and Baal, like deep, dark shadow figures in myth that are all about having and taking, and all about the price we pay for that. So I think this is really, really important. And I want to start the energy report this week about the uprising, the uplifting that's coming up from the earth to show itself, so that we can change it as individuals. We must stop looking outside of ourselves like, oh, this isn't me, I didn't do this is all happening outside of ourselves. That's not how spirit, energy, soul, the collective unconscious works. It works that whatever is happening outside of us is happening within us on an individual basis. And I think when I work with people, and I think I might do a free class on this, is we can look deeply inside of ourselves and say, where do I silence people that are stepping up and speaking out? Where do I get defensive or triggered if I don't like it when I hear something? Where do I extract myself from the bigger problems of the world? Where do I like to dominate? And then this is a big one for me. I've got quite a dominating personality. So where do I like to dominate? Where do I extract? Where do I silence? Where do I make myself numb to a collective feeling? Or, you know, all of these things. Where do I not allow like feminine softness? Where do I not receive? All of these things are in our collective to make us feel and reflect on them. None of us are separate from what is happening. And the more we bury our heads, or the more that we say we can't deal with what's going on external from us, the more this will carry on, because this is a collective awakening. It's trying to wake us up from that numbness, from that lack of emotion. And I really want to reiterate the emotion as someone who's dealt and taught how to enter the emotional body through the physical body. There is still huge work to do with that. This is about facing the emotion, not saying I'm overwhelmed. If we're overwhelmed, we're not dealing with the emotions little by little. And usually we're not in our body. So we cannot deal with emotions when we're not deeply in our body. We are extracted and separated from feeling when we are not anchored in our bodies. So this is a time to get in your body. I'll be doing the Firehorse call tonight. The class, if anybody wants to join, you can still join. It will be all about this. I will be talking how to root in the somatic body, because it's going to be vital as we move forward into the rest of the year. So it's starting now, feeling our body, allowing the process of emotions that might be coming up as to what we see in the collective field, and then really allowing ourselves to feel the emotion bit by bit. We don't have to feel it all at once. We can take a break, we can have joy and pleasure, but we really need to not be disconnected from it. And especially being other women talking about this, it really helps to process it. We get a held container, a space, talk about it with your friends in, you know, any setting, just to allow it to come up and be spoken about, instead of always hiding from these bigger things that are influencing our world. I'm really, really advocating for that at the moment. And I know a lot of you have been sharing with me the things that you really want to bring into community, the things you really want to talk about that are important. Find the people to do that with. I think it's part of how we thrive as we go forward, because we know collective energy. Even if you run away from it and pretend it's not happening, it will catch up to you. So in the blog that I've written on my website, you will see I've listed what the times are asking for us. I'm only going to give you a few on this call because you can read it on my website. But it's asking us to, number one, stay present with what is being revealed at this moment. Do not numb, do not distract, do not avoid, do not look away. Really notice when something feels uncomfortable, how you react to it. Do you defend? Do you hide from it? Do you want to shut it down? How do you react when something comes up, especially to do with collective issues that you might want to run away from? We must be present with what's being revealed so that if we're going to change it, of course, we can ignore it. And the continued ignorance keeps causing these atrocities and cycles to happen. Number two, really recognize that what's happening is a distortion of the masculine principle within our society that has to do with the logos, the masculine principle in both men and women. We're not excluded from it. All of us are in this together. Things like power without heart, dominance without accountability, and action without conscience. These are the things that are important. And the last one I'll speak now about is to speak when something feels wrong, to talk out against numbness, avoidance, bad behavior, patriarchal behavior, because it's super important in this energy, even more so. So speak when your voice shakes, speak even if you upset someone, speak even if you're being silenced, speak out about this. It's too vital for the collective to, not numb out from what's happening right now. Things keep happening until we open our eyes and say, oh my goodness, we're being asked to do something on an individualistic level. So know that speaking out will disrupt harmony. It does, but it's really important to release, always trying to be in harmony, in positive, in nice. All of that, all of the time, does not solve our problems in the world. So speak out. That's really important. You'll see a lot of other things to do with how you can deal with this in the blog. So this is all, as I say, the prerequisite, the pre-ground for eclipse season, because eclipse season has begun already. And eclipses are always about revealing, always. Eclipse season marks a turning point for us. It's the point where things begin to change, because change comes when truth is revealed, and only when truth is revealed. Truth, exposure, and consequence are part of what we're seeing out there. There is consequence for all of our behaviors, and usually we're living the consequence of our behaviors. What has been hidden, what is being denied or distorted, now is really coming into view. It's being shown to us. And this is personally, and it's also globally, because they don't exist without each other. And I think the collective still doesn't recognize that when a corruption or a distortion is happening in the external world, it's also somewhere within the internal. And that's what we have to do the work on, especially if we feel so helpless that we can't do anything big or significant enough. We can always, on an individual level, do it individually, which has a huge repercussion on what we're seeing externally. So that's really the key of the eclipse. What behaviors are coming up for you right now that you could identify as patriarchal? Where are you silenced, or where are you being silenced, or where are you numbing out? Where are you avoiding? Where are you not in the emotion? These are all really good things to ask yourself as this eclipse comes in. Systems, narrative structures that you are in are beginning to reveal their fractures. What isn't good for you is beginning to reveal fractures, because they are systems that have existed on you being numb, you ignoring, and the very systems that you would be beneficial, you might find uncomfortable. They will bring something else. They will ask you to feel deeper. They will ask you to live differently. So they're the key differences in what is working and what isn't. You in your personal life may get some sudden clarity of what's happening in your life or what needs to happen. You might end certain relationships or job or work or habits, and you might start to redirect your energy to the things that you believe in, the things that you are passionate about. And you might just be burning down all the things that no longer have soul and passion and connection and the want to change the world, especially if you're on a deep spiritual path right now. And I think those of us that have had quite significant suffering in the recent years or year have really felt that, yeah, there is this deep suffering that's happening to me on an individual level, and that's being reflected in an external level. And how do we change this? How do we change this? How do we heal it? It might feel that in this energy that certain meetings or discussions are, feel like fate rather than you choosing them. They are coming to you, they feel fated. And that's because the eclipse shadow energy will really try to bring us into some kind of divine synchronicity that allows us to see what we should or shouldn't be doing. So it's really a time, I think this week is going to be beyond your individual control. We can't control this. This is happening to us because we need it. So feel what's happening to you, and rather than being a victim of it, really try to deduce what it's trying to change in you. And that would really lead you forward into more of an energy that feels hopeful, and more of an energy that shows these things need to be seen, shown, discussed, heard, because it is the glimmer of hope that things are not going to continue as they are. So an invitation to become conscious of witnessing all of this, and not panicking, not forcing outcomes, but witnessing, feeling, and connecting to it, and allowing to see what that brings up. Eclipses do not bring chaos. They reveal what was already crumbling, what was already not stable. So they just highlight it. They bring out of the shadow or show the shadow. So this is this is the world facing the collective truth. This is exactly what happens around the eclipse, and we're going to see more. There's more. So you can't bury it down. It's going to build up, and that becomes overwhelmed. You need to deal with it in small bite sizes. You need to process it. You need to feel it. You need to emotionally, express it. The most damaging thing you can do is to ignore it or numb out from it. The collective unveiling is underway. And I'm smiling while I'm saying this, because although all these acts are horrific that we're seeing worldwide, they've always been going on, and we've just been blind to it. So now that it's being exposed, we can really truly begin to think, okay, this is an unveiling. This is showing me information that in our world there are power dynamics we were not aware of, that there were hidden motives of governments and rich people and celebrities. It'll all come out more, more, more. I've said it for years. You will be horrified of the people that you've paid a TV license to, bought music from, worshipped in any way, shape, or form, because those gurus, we've seen them this week, they're coming out, and they'll all be disposed of, because they all are in an unhealthy balance of fame, fortune. They are all seeking what Baal, the dark god, sought. And we all know that comes at a price. It always comes with a consequence, always. So this is a real relationship with that inner darkness that is in us all, the one that isn't caring about anybody else, that's so centered in the self, the one that wants the money, that wants the fame. This is within us all, and it's asking for direct feeling. We might feel overwhelmed by it, we will, but that isn't an excuse to numb out from it, but it's rather to say, how do I try to regulate and deal with this bit by bit that's healthy for me? So I'm trying to go into get balance between dealing with it and then taking time out. Disorientated, we're going to feel, whoa, like the world's changing around us. And then we're going to feel like there's a lot of emotion, and we're going to be passionate, and we'll be spiky, and we'll be, like really needing to voice out at this time about this, especially those of us who are doing the work and who are on this path. So the work is really asking us to be sensitive about what we're processing, not too much all at once, but not nothing. The work is going to ground us in discernment. It's going to make us be connected to each other. It's trying to bring in what true authority is, and where we project outside of us what is inside of us, and use others as a way to find the inner hero or the inner guru or the inner, justice. It doesn't live outside of us, and it lives, inside of us. But there is some nice energy here this week. You'll be pleased to know, and it's coming from my very, very, very most loved Venus energy, because Venus has been really moving through quite difficult terrain. Venus has not been in placement where she is able to be fully Venus, love, beauty, pleasure, like Eros, all this Eros that we need to counterbalance the Logos. So she's had a really difficult struggle, but she is coming into a place now where she's exalted. Yes. So she is returning some pleasure to us. She shifts into the sign of greater strength and dignity, and her energy is stabilizing and actually tries to soften the field. So if you have a worship of the myth of Venus or the goddess, get your goddess statue out and just spend some time with her, or indeed look at the planet Venus, do some connection, energetic connection to the planet Venus, and let that energy bring in pleasure, connection, devotion, joy, beauty amongst what's happening, not separate from it, but with it. This is how Logos and Eros work, to create a holy matrimony, to create this real place of balance. Both need to collide. And so, amidst the patriarchal system, we bring in that matriarchal system that brings in the feminine. The Venus here is a beautiful placement, and the world so needs this energy. So, really focus that this beauty, this pleasure, this joy sits alongside the discomfort, the overwhelm, the atrocities that are happening. We will feel that relationships are a bit more resourced because the ones that aren't good for us have shown themselves. And the feminine field really is trying to connect to worth, self-love, and embodied enjoyment. It adds some sweetness and coherence, and I think that's so timely, isn't it, as we begin to move towards the weekend when we have the Valentine's Day and the energy of love, of a collective, whether you believe in it or not. The collective is focused on this big red heart energy and showing love, and so it's very Venusian. So enjoy that. Try to bring a practice or a ritual in that really celebrates this Venus or Venusian energy, because it will help you. It really will help you. Venus, she really tries to remain, and this is a big part of my personality, is she reminds us how to stay human, how to stay connected, how to be tender, passionate while big things are unfolding. So we all need a spoonful of Venus for sure. And the last thing I want to talk of is that Saturn changes sign. We all know that Saturn has a huge impact on the human psyche. And as Saturn leaves Pisces and comes into Aries, there's this major shift where a cycle of responsibility begins. And this is what I've just been saying. You're not separate from what's happening. We're all responsible. We all have some responsibility. And Saturn in Pisces was all about like surrender, compassion, spiritual maturity, the disillusion of illusion. And now as it enters into Aries, it's more about accountability. I am part of this system. I have colluded with it. I have believed it, whatever that is that you need to be accountable for. And then action, leadership, holding yourself as an internal leader. Why are we so overrun by leaders? Because we're just so not self-leading. Having courage to speak out, courage to show things, and having self-definition, saying, yeah, this is what I believe in. These are the principles and morals I hold, and I define myself as that, and will not be silenced on my little mission to, like for me, to reclaim the feminine, to talk about deep, important things. I am going to be 100% concentrated now, totally on all of this as I connect to what's happening in the world. This is the action I want to take. I won't be silenced. I won't quieten stories. And I will keep sharing about the dysfunction in this world as a hope that more and more people become aware of it and we begin to change what has been an enslaving system for many of us for far too long. So, this self defining, this courage, this leadership, this accountability, and a call to action is asking you in this current climate, wherever you've got going on personally, what do you believe in? What bigger thing do you believe in? Because that's your soul spark, that's your soul on fire. And what are you willing to stand by and live by? What do you stand for? What do you live by? And how do you act in accordance with that in all situations? All situations. I think this is key for all of us as we move forward. If we all took responsibility, leadership, courage, action, there would be less reliance on those leaders that actually cause us. And believe me, we'll all find out truly that the leaders are not in control. Please, the governments are not in control. There are 13 energies behind this central government in any country. 13 big energies. This will all be revealed. It's already started, of wealth and control, who pays all the political systems and pays all the pharmaceutical industries and all of that. It's a huge web. And you all know, if you've been following me for a long time, I have revealed all this years ago. I spent a long time revealing it, and now other people are doing it. So it's my time to step back with all the revealing. I'm not here to convince anyone. My day's over working with people who still are behind and need convincing. My work's with the people who knows what's going on and is saying, what do we do about it? We're stepping up, we're being leaders, we're feeling it, we're processing, we're moving with it. You're my people, you're the people I call in. If you are still unsure of what's going on in the world, go to sites. If you want me to, I'll link some under here of those people that are exposing what's going on. Get off main media, go to Rumble, go to those sites that journalists have set up because they have been silenced. Go there, find your information there, because on these general social medias, on your general news, we have been silenced. You won't get it. And that's what's affected me over the years, is I got a lot of shadow banning and blocking because I was exposing these corrupt systems. So make sure that you take responsibility to find out what's actually going on if you don't know. If you're with me and you know already, then let's do something about it. And know that I am holding containers of work specifically for this, the empowerment of the matriarchy, the empowerment of the eros, the empowerment of women, no matter what age, that we have it within us to bring back the balance on this planet that has been so out of kilter for far too long. This is about spiritual adulthood. We are moving forward in embodiment. We know what's going on. We've seen it. We're working on ourselves and we're making a vow to be part of the healing of this world. If you're with me, then stay tuned to these, because it's all going to be about this empowerment. What this means for us, the energy this week, is I've realized as well, the energy's so big this week that it's actually making us very tired. I feel very tired, very heavy. I'm really feeling my body actually. I've been spending time in the gym lifting because it's so important to be feeling our body weight, feeling our body. Do whatever makes you feel your body. Yoga and those practices for me are definitely in my body, but they take me very spiritually. So I really have been trying to find more earthy ways, lifting weight. I spent the day in the garden yesterday lifting heavy things. It really will just put you back in your body. And the embodiment is essential as the eclipse reveals more truths personal to you and in our wider collective. The collective field is exposing what can no longer be sustained. You are part of it. You are not separate. And Venus brings softness, pleasure, relational nourishment, big red, love hearts and roses. I am a big sucker for this energy. When Valentine's comes, it's not so much of a traditional or, worship that I do, but just feeling everywhere, flushed with roses and hearts and people celebrating love. Every day should be like that. Of course it should, but it's not. So just feeling the Venusian energy that is coming in with that as well. Saturn preparing you and me to take responsibility for who we are becoming. Who are we? What do we stand for? And do we act in alignment with that? So this is a really big week for seeing clearly, feeling deeply, and choosing consciously not to numb out, not to disintegrate, not to hide away, but be present with it all. Stay grounded in your body. Limit over consumption of news and stimulation. Let Venus guide you towards connection and rest. And allow eclipses to show you what is needing to change in your life, and prepare to act in integrity as Saturn shifts the tone. That's it for this week. It's a lot, but as always, I just want to shed huge amounts of light on the fact that what is happening and becoming in our field is absolutely vital for our evolution. We as spiritual people, I know I've been on this path for what? I keep saying too little years because it makes me feel younger, but 30 years. And for 30 years, I have sought this huge change, this huge awakening, and it's happening, and we don't like it because it's painful and it's uncomfortable and it's heartbreaking. It's all of those things, but it's really, really essential. Advocate for good causes, take rest, take time out, take joy and pleasure alongside it all. And we are going to see some major shifts. And I'm excited to see a world that begins to understand that things are not quite what they seem and that we've been duped for far too long. So let's be the change that we want to see. Tonight I will be holding the course, which is the Year of the Horse. I do it every year. I did the Year of the Snake last year. This year I'm doing the Year of the Horse. I've put super loads of materials in this class. We'll do a live class tonight. I'll walk you through the essentials of how we do not burn out, get disassociated, or we struggle with the intense energies this year. So that's the masterclass. And I will have given you in the group, you've got a PDF workbook which details all of the horse energy, symbology, the goddess Epona, who is the Celtic goddess of the horse. And I put a bonus gift in over the weekend, which is a full PDF giving you work to do every month for the Year of the Horse. So January, there's January, February, March, April, May. I've put a little bullet point of what to ask yourself, what energy to work with. And I'd love to see, I'm so happy to see so many people signed up for this class. I'm really looking forward to teaching it tonight, and would welcome any more faces, especially new faces, to the call if you feel called to really run with the horse energy and make this a year for you where you really step into that leadership, authority, change. You become your own successful personal myth. So looking forward to seeing you all then. And for everyone else, until next week, take great care and shower yourself with the love and the energy and the beauty of Venus. Bye for now.